Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of TechteamGB. Today we're going to take a look at the Gigabyte X99-UD4. Let's take it away with Andrew to show us around this board and show us some of the most compelling features of it.
Huge thanks to the guys over at Gigabyte UK for inviting us down to their office for the day to play with their awesome new lineup of X99 boards and the Gigabyte Bricks gaming unit. Without them, this content wouldn't have been possible.
Okay, so we're just going to start off with the UD4. Andrew's just going to show us around it and just show us some of the cool features. So this is actually one of our entry-level motherboards that I wanted to show you here. The reason I wanted to show this one is because it's so feature-packed for an entry-level motherboard, and that's our UD4 motherboard series. So this is the one that's actually on the bench here. And as you can see, it's supporting the quad-channel memory setup for DDR4. It's also got the latest 8-core CPU plugged into it at the moment. We've just got a graphics card from Gigabyte here, just so that we can obviously get a visual display. And yeah, this is the motherboard itself. So the features that we actually have on these boards, as I was saying, we try and make them as feature-packed as possible. With the X99 series, we understand it's obviously a very high-end part of the market, and that an awful lot of people that will be using this will be overclockers and gamers. And some people may not have the money, obviously, to buy our top-end boards. So, for example, if you look just over here on the board, you can see that it's actually got our high-end audio chips on there. So that's actually based on a very high-end Realtek chipset with a creative software suite as well, which will enable you to basically get really, really high-end 8-channel audio sound, which will enable you, when you're playing gaming, to hear people sneaking up behind you, do that kind of thing, obviously multiple explosions, and really basically just up the level of gameplay that you've got. So another one of the functions that we've also got on this board at the moment, aesthetics, is something that's really come into the motherboard market over the last few years. No longer are the green PCBs with multiple different coloured heat sinks and all sorts. What we've actually tried to do is design black motherboards with various coloured heat sinks and things like that to actually make the systems very, very attractive for those that really, really want something extra special, especially when you're paying the kind of money that you will do to get the latest Intel product. So one of the features this has got is actually, as you can see here, the I/O shield actually lights up, which is very, very useful if you're in a dark room. It means that you can obviously still see the connectors when you're trying to plug things in at the back of your PC, as an example. But we've actually taken it one step further and added LEDs into the actual heat sinks themselves. And what we'll do is we'll cut to something else in a second, where we'll turn the lights off and show you how the LEDs can actually be programmed to go along to music and flash and do various other bits and pieces. Or if you're not into any of that, you can just turn them off. So something that ships with all of the Gigabyte boards is the Gigabyte App Center, which basically enables you to change the various bits and pieces you're doing on the motherboard, overclock it. It also comes with some very other useful features, which I'll show you, but just quickly, just go in here and to load up the App Center. So here we are, this will load onto the sidebar for you. So what you can see here is our App Center is App BIOS, which basically gives you all the information about the latest BIOS that's on the system. It will also enable you to update it and do various things like that to make sure that you've got the most compatible parts. Oh, actually, hang on, I'll start that bit again. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so what actually ships with all of the Gigabyte motherboards is the Gigabyte App Center. It's a piece of software which basically enables you to update BIOSes, keep drivers up to date, and it also comes with a whole host of other bits and pieces that enable you to configure and overclock the motherboard as well. So I'll just bring the App Center up here. As you can see, it's just down, simple double-click system, and it's loaded in. Here we've got the App BIOS system. Tells you the latest version of the BIOS, obviously enables you to keep that up to date, which means that any tweaks that we put in for compatibility for CPUs, memory, overclocking, that kind of thing, you'll actually get that on there. And what you also get with the App Center is the ambient LED system. Okay, so I'll quickly load this up. So here you can see the ambient LED system, and what that does is it controls all the LEDs that are actually on the motherboard that we were showing you earlier. So you've got still mode, so that it's just constantly on. As I said, that would be really useful obviously for when you're rummaging around at the back of your PC and trying to change cables around. You can actually see it without having to have the light there. There's beat mode, which we showed you earlier on, which actually means that it'll actually go to music, so you can have all the lights in your case basically flashing to the sounds of the computer games that you're running and all the other bits and pieces for audio. It doesn't necessarily have to be music, it can be any audio whatsoever. And then we've got the pulse mode, which does exactly what it says on the tin pretty much, and just creates causes the LEDs to pulse. Or if that's really not your thing, you can just turn it off and just have a basic system like you normally would. As well as with that, and on the App Center, what you also get is USB blocker, which is very, very useful for anybody that's putting the PC into a public place. If you don't want people to come along with software and just load on with the USBs, you can disable various ports, or you can enable them to only work with your USB key so that it's only your information that you can put on there. We also have a cloud station server as well, so you can actually store information on external services and then bring that back, pretty much how obviously cloud works. And then there's live update, which is obviously what I was talking about before, which enables you to automatically update all the drivers for all the devices that are plugged into those motherboards.
Does that update the BIOS as well, or do you have to do that manually?
The BIOS is done through the App BIOS
right.
utility that was on there as well. But this comes with all the motherboards. And obviously, like I said, we have a full range of X99 motherboards, from the ultra durable that we were talking about, to the gaming boards and the OC boards that we've got over there, which I'll show you in just a minute.
And that obviously allows you to, like, because each of the boards are different colours, the LEDs light up on different colours on each board.
That's correct,
so you can customise the
So
system
the way that it works is basically all of the ultra durable range are gold and yellow, as you can see from the things that we showed before. The gaming range, which I'll just show you quickly now, so here's the gaming range. And that's all in a very red colour scheme, so you can just see here, there's the heat sinks. The actual eye itself will light up along with the other parts on the motherboards where the LEDs are plugged in. And we also have our OC range as well. And here's our OC range for the X99 series. And as you can see, that's actually the orange. So you have the orange LEDs there, that all glows and does the other bits and pieces. But obviously there's an awful lot of functions on here for high-end overclocking, even enabling you to use LN2, the liquid nitrogen, to actually cool the CPUs.
So not only can you build a board just because of the features, you can build it just how you want it to look. If you wanted to build an orange system, the SoC board would fit perfectly with your system, or if you want red,
that's correct,
yellow, you know, it doesn't just have to be the features that you buy the board for, it can be more design as well, which is very interesting. Alright guys, thanks for watching this episode of TechteamGB, and massive thanks to Andrew for showing us around their entire X99 lineup. As for always, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you dislike it, hit the dislike button. Make sure you leave a comment on what we can improve on next time, or if you want to see any more features on any of these boards, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.